Hey, everybody, my name is Cody from the Middle Third Podcast, where we practice living moderately in a world of extremes. And we're doing this to make sure that we stay sane in what seems like a relatively loud environment where everyone's trying to get us to agree with them. And today, I want to talk about that specific issue, people trying to make us agree with them, or arguments in general. What are we trying to do when we bring up our experiences, our opinions of things, our facts that we've collected and arranged so that we can present them, and try to sway someone's opinion or get them at least to have a modicum of interest in what ours are. So I want to slow down a little bit because language is very important for this. It's important to be precise when we talk about uh, pretty much anything that has anything of worth and value. Um, and this one's a big one. So, propose for a minute that you and I have a disagreement of some sort, or maybe even an agreement in many areas. And what we're trying to do between the two of us is come to terms based on how I see the world, how you see the world. What is the discernible truth that we can garner based on our evidence and our presentation of the evidence? And then uh, how does it impact us? How does this lens or view affect one another, right? So there's truth, and then there's opinion, and then there's also the impacts of the narrative. Um, and that's really important. It's important to know that when we're having debates with people, we're not often trying to find the truth. We're trying to support a narrative that has meaning for us and gives us something of value. Okay? An interesting way to frame it. So I'm not trying to convince you of what's true. I'm trying to convince you that my lens has value. Right? So today I want to take a look at two distinct interactions. One is very busy. There's 5 audience members. You can see it on the screen now. They were all talking, sometimes over each other because it's not a set where it's easy for everybody to get in. You kind of have to jump in and fight for your voice. That's intentional. Um, and I want you to just notice what you feel in this quick 10-second clip. Okay. Let's do it for 10 seconds so I don't get in trouble here, but just take a look and tell me how you feel.
I'm a leftist. I don't want to see you dead. I'm a Christian.
You called Trump's administration a neo-fascist movement, you lunatic.
Pause. Okay. 8 seconds. Got a lot of words in there, right? And I'm not trying to pick on any specific people or viewpoint or large collective agreement of people, left, right, whatever you want to call it. I just use this for you to check in on how you feel when you're watching it. Let's do it one more time.
Dead. When I'm a leftist, I don't want to see you dead. I'm a Christian.
You called Trump's administration a neo-fascist movement, you lunatic.
Okay, notice the language. Notice the uh, feeling, the sensation when you hear this. Anxiety, right? How does it impact your body, right? How does it impact the presentation, the presenters? Look at the difference in the faces, right? Look at the faces. One is kind of sullen, the guy on the right, and on the left you see some anger. You see um, uh, definitely displays of aggression. Um, so these are things that I want to point out because here's the question: are we actually capable of hearing each other and seeing each other in this kind of an environment that promotes this form of dialogue, right? Where you're in front of millions of people, trying to save face. You can barely get an edge in, when there's four other people that are streaming in, and so your adrenaline's pumping. You've got a brand to uphold, right? Because you're a political pundit of some sort, and you need people to see you in a certain way, and so all of these factors come in, and the experience of debating uh, can change dramatically based on all of these indicators and components. So let's take a look at a different one here. Let's just watch this set. Um, this is Jordan Peterson with Russell Brand, and give 10 seconds here.
Distinguish this technically in our discussions at ARC. Okay, so here's some principles. You tell me what you think about them. Policy that requires force and...
Okay, that's all we need to see, right? So two people, their body language is relatively open. They're pretty close to each other too. Russell feels safe enough to maintain eye contact while drinking water, right? And Jordan invites him, into the conversation. Tell me what you think of this, right? So two different environments, right? And in the second environment, it's one-on-one. There's a lot of breathing room to expose all the different parts of your argument, all the different needs, to take a look at it. There's seems to be a certain level of mutual respect that further enhances our ability to share everything that we want to put on the table to be seen. And so, I'm asking over and over again, what do we need to do in order to have reasonable discourse and discussion? What type of an environment do you think promotes sharing our perspectives, our opinions of the world, and allows us to make headway on critical issues? Do you think it's going to be the one-offs with political pundits that are stressed and trying to sell their cup of tea as fast as possible, with as much force and vigor as possible? um, you know who knows what nuances are missed, what information is not carried, including, you have to think about it for a second, what are you missing yourself in your own arguments? What do you actually believe? What don't you believe? Um, what are your own responses to your own argument? And if you're moving at this pace with adrenaline, you're going to miss some of that. You're going to miss the cues, the internal cues. It's not just up here. You're also dealing with your body's responses. Does it feel right to you? Does the narrative in my head match the experiences that I'm having inside of my body? Or are my emotions in alignment? Am I having cognitive discourse? Right? Is there dissonance going on? Um, if you're moving too fast, you can't even hear your own opinion. So I'm going to slow down just to make sure that I don't miss anything. This was something that I've been thinking about for quite a long time, and I'm sure everybody has, in to some degree or another, right? I'm pretty sure we've all sat back and said, "Man, how can you possibly have a rational discussion, with people these days? It seems so hard." And it's really, I think, the rules of engagement. They're not defined clearly, and we don't practice the courtesies that we once did. So, thank you for listening to this today. Again, my name is Cody. I'm from the Middle Third Podcast, and I sincerely appreciate you hanging out with me today. If you like this kind of content and you're looking for more, please subscribe, hit the like button, and do not do notifications. We don't need that in our lives. That's always going to be my ending. Take care, okay? Bye.